Hey there, fellow campers, and welcome to Camping 101 with Gallivanting SA. Every week, I'm seeing questions from people asking how do we keep in touch when we're on the road. Now, I completely understand the folks that say that when you go away, you should just disconnect from technology and just be without. But unfortunately, for many of us, that's just not an option. For those of us that work remotely on the road, that are away from home for a long time, or in my case, I have an 88-year-old mother whose health is a little bit, I need to be in touch. And a lot of other people are in the same position, especially the more long-term people. So technology is a reality for us, and I'm going to share with you what we do, what works for us, on the understanding that technology changes every day. And what's working for us right now might not be working for us in a month or 2 months or 6 months' time. And we will change and adapt as technology changes and adapts. I do think that the solutions for weekend warriors and short-term travelers is probably slightly different to what those that are on the road for longer periods of time or who live permanently on the road need. For us, it's basically 3 pieces of kit: cell phones, a mobile router, and another router that we have to plug into power. These 3 things allow us to access the bank, email, download videos, upload videos, pretty much anything and everything that we need to do, we manage with these 3 pieces of kit. Let's start with our phones. On our phones, we don't have a lot of data, probably about 3 gig each, really just for if we are out and about and we want to check directions, maybe just check an email or send a WhatsApp. We really don't use the data on our phones very much. However, if we need to, we can load extra data onto our phones and hotspot with each other with our iPads, our phones. We can hotspot onto our phones. So we find these really, really handy. I think the biggest thing is that Alan and I have different service providers. I'm with MTN and he is with Vodacom. And that kind of means that no matter where we are generally always able to access some sort of a network. Even if one doesn't work, the other one will work. If there's no cell signal. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. But generally, we can get something between the two of us, even if it's only just to tweak through an email or get a WhatsApp through, maybe do a little bit of banking. We can't always upload and download videos, but generally we have enough connection to be able to do the absolute basics. That's our phones. Our mobile router, this is connected to Vodacom. It has about 80 gig of data on it, which for some people may seem a lot, but when you're actually working remotely on the road, 80 gig is actually not an enormous amount. And since the advent of 4K, I find that 80 gig gets gobbled up very, very quickly. The nice thing about this is it's portable, it has a good battery life. I throw it in my handbag, switch it on, we go to coffee shops, we do activities, whatever we need to do. At least all our WhatsApps come through, any urgent emails come through, and if we need to check directions or anything, we've got this if the data on our phones is running a little bit low. The last bit of kit is our TP-Link router. This guy has to be plugged into power, but they definitely have a better connection than the router. They seem to work faster, and because of these antenna, I just find that the reception on them is a little bit better. The downside, it needs to be plugged into power. The upside for us is because we have an inverter and backup power, that our router works all the time, even during load shedding, but our router is connected to our security camera. And that means that when we go out, we can link to the security camera on our phones or through the sky. So no matter what, we are connected to our cameras, we're connected to the security. It's a motion detector camera. It lets us know if there's anything going on in the van. We get a beep. We can immediately look at our phones and see if something is going on. Alternatively, we can just, because we're nosy, click into the camera and have a look at what's going on. Our TP-Link router, the one that has to be plugged in, is with AfriHost, backed by MTN on an unlimited package. So unlimited on MTN, 80 gig on Vodacom, another 6 gig on our phones, 1 MTN and 1 Vodacom, and we should be absolutely fine. So far, we haven't had any problems. Of course, you can always link into whatever Wi-Fi might be available, whether it's free or paid. A lot of resorts now do have a Wi-Fi hotspot. It's great to use. My where I draw the line is that I will not put in any sensitive passwords into any public network. So if I'm not on the app, if for some reason I would have to go into my banking website or into my email website, I would not use that facility to put in any sensitive passwords. That's just old-fashioned me. For weekend warriors and short-term travelers, I think that a phone and possibly a portable router is all you need. For those folks that are staying away longer or live permanently away, I really like this guy. It's plugged in because of our inverter. It never goes off even during load shedding. And we just have a better connection and a faster connection than we have with this one. If you're a weekend warrior, it's probably better from a data point of view to download any series or movies before you leave home, and then you can watch them as you wish. You don't have that option if you're on the road a lot or if you're on the road permanently. And perhaps a better option then is actually to get yourself a little TV, the little satellite dish and a decoder, and to watch most of your programs through the TV rather than through the data on your internet. I have only spoken about MTN and Vodacom. They are the two premier providers in South Africa. There are other service providers such as Rain, Hawaii, I believe, are building some 5G towers, but predominantly South African coverage is with Vodacom and MTN, or all of the others work through Vodacom and MTN. That is why we split between MTN and Vodacom, to make sure that we had the best chance of getting signal and split our risk as much as possible, especially during load shedding. Starlink is undoubtedly the solution that we're all waiting for. Unfortunately, at this time, they don't have regulatory approval in South Africa. And from everything I've read and all the research I've done, the speed, the reliability of the roaming performance, and the cost just make it unfeasible here in South Africa. Our personal experience is that Vodacom has the better coverage, and we have been able to connect better on Vodacom than MTN in the past. This may change. Things change every day. New players are coming onto the market, but our experience to date is that Vodacom definitely has better coverage than MTN. Please let me know in the comments below what works for you, how you access the internet. You may have a brilliant idea that I haven't thought of, but please do let me know. Well, that's it for this one. Thank you for your time. Be safe, be well, and I hope to catch you in a campsite sometime.